Okay, we're back for part 5 of playing Mind Over Magic, and it's the start of day 11, and I currently have 4 wizards in my school. I have 4 staff, and I have 4 students. They're called initiates here. And we have the ghost of the founder, who acts as sort of like a 5th staff member, but he's kind of nice because he can't be injured and he doesn't have any conviction. He doesn't have morale that needs to be maintained, and he doesn't, his work isn't very effective, but he can just work on anything and work day and night. He doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, he doesn't need anything. So the next step now in the school is I'm going to finish the dining room, which I started setting up right when I finished playing last time. And the next step after I do that is I want to build some more bedrooms for the staff. So right now there's a bedroom with 2 beds in it. And so half of the staff have bedrooms. I'd like to get bedrooms for the rest of the staff, and I'm going to be hiring Horatio on staff soon. I have 27 Gnosis shards, so I need 25 to hire him as a staff member. And then following that, I'll want to get an air staff member, and I'll want to get a dark staff member. And so that's kind of the priority now, to get everybody into a bedroom, and they'll all be able to use the nice dining room, and so that should help with their conviction. And then after that, the next step is that I'm going to make an official research room, which will make the research more powerful when I'm doing that, and I'm going to try to get more research activity happening and get that going faster. So I think the next step right now, because I'll in short order have this dining room set up, is to build another level on the school. And so I'm going to replace the roof with a floor, and I can just move this across like this, and I can just move this across like this. So it's not building the floor, and it's because I'm already out of wood. So I started building this here. So I sent off the nature mage to chop some wood, and so I'm going to increase the priority for the wood and get some more trees being chopped down. And I currently need smoke sticks and phoenix flowers and ice petals in order to push back the fog, and that's way too expensive for me. I can't afford that right now. So I will just start building this one part of the school, and so actually, now that I'm looking at it, I don't really like that design because this room here is huge. It's far bigger than it needs to be. So I'm just choosing all of the floor that I just put in place, and I'm pressing delete to remove it. And so I'm just undoing the instruction to build the floor there. And I'm actually gonna bring the new floor down lower because this room doesn't need a super high ceiling like that. And so I do need this room. The dining room needs to be skewed, and I'll have a way to deal with that. But right now I'm just gonna build the floor just above here. And I believe Birdie she's harvesting some smoke reeds, and she should do that. And then in short order, once she's finished that, she should start chopping down trees. And so there, now she started on the trees. Quinn is researching, which is exactly what I want him to do. Quincy is cooking. He's our fire specialist, which is what we want him to do. And David is creating these quilted creatures that I talked about, a quilted carrion or a quilted sweep, and they're going to run around and move items for us. So they'll start hauling items, which we've been using apprentices for we've been using initiates for up till now. And the sweeps will clean, which we've been getting cleaning done again, by initiates and sometimes the staff. So I've already got some more wood, which is great, from the trees, but I'm going to let them keep chopping down trees. And I'm going to build up the spiral staircase to be up to the second level. And I've got the ceiling for my room here, for my learning stone room. And it'll be the floor for the next level. So that's going up there. And I just got a noise was indicating that we've researched domestic gut berries. So we now have, we're building bitter rice outside of our school, but now we can also build a gutberry planter, which we're going to, in the near future, build a greenhouse. And once we build the greenhouse, we'll get some of these plants in our greenhouse. And so David is doing the quilted carriers, which is great. And then all of the initiates are just learning. And Gladys, our air initiate, our best trained air initiate, has become fully trained. So we could promote her to a staff member, but I want to use those Gnosis shards for Horatio. So instead, I'm going to go to the ritual sigil and I'm going to get David to graduate Gladys, and we'll get another relic from her graduating. And the game paused because a storm is raging. So that's fine that a storm is raging. Right now, we still have our roof, and what we're building here is below the roof. So we should be pretty safe with the storm, other than all of these things that are around the ground are all going to get damaged and lost. So I'm actually gonna go and I'm going to do what I did the first time to try to collect all these items before they get damaged by the storm, is I'm going to put everybody on emergency hauling, and I'm going to get them to come and haul all these items into storage. And I'm not going to do it for Gladys because I'm graduating her, and I'm not going to do it for David. So I'm going to let them finish their graduation, and I'm not going to interrupt the graduation ritual. But everybody else is going to go and haul items and bring them into storage to try to save them from the storm. So there we finished the ritual, and Gladys is graduated. So I will now get David on emergency hauling, and we'll send them all out to get items. And we do have one quilted carrier now somewhere, and I'm sure it's working. Here it is right here. So it gets a name. In this case, it's called Faceless, and it's picking items up and putting them into storage into my chests. So all of the wizards and the quilted carrier are all trying to grab items that are being damaged by the storm. So there's some carcass over here. So a gutberry was destroyed by water, which, I could have used that gutberry for a ritual to push back the fog. So I'm not happy that I've lost that. I could have cooked it into gutberry soup. I could have let one of my vivified eat it. So it's not something that's good to get rid of it, to lose it. So I'm going to try to grab everything I can. A void shroom has appeared in the dining room, and it's because that room is dark. I haven't completed building the window yet. And so I'm going to increase the priority on the window, and I'm going to increase the priority on harvesting the void shroom. But I'm going to keep having everybody grabbing all of the items and putting it into storage so it doesn't get damaged by the rain. So the lightning is hitting our roof, and it's doing damage to our roof. It's not the end of the world damage. Initiates can do repairs, as can any staff. And so once the storm's over, actually even while the storm's on, my wizards will do repairs on the roof. And it's not the biggest problem. So we've lost an ice petal to the water. We've lost viscera to the water. Again, those are things that I could have used those resources if they'd been moved into storage. We've lost an eyeball. We've lost a brain, and those are useful again. And so once we get the spindle, and once we get 5 quilted carriers out, they'll be much better at bringing all this stuff in before a storm or before rain. And so we're losing some things now, but this is probably going to be the last time we lose very much to a storm. I should have kind of got onto all of this sooner. And so Quincy's still putting things into storage. Birdie's putting things into storage, but it seems like people have started going back to other things. Quincy's now gone back to research, and Birdie is going to chopping a tree. So we've brought everything in that was available. And so I'm going to remove the emergency hauling and just put everybody down to a medium haul priority. And in the future, I'll let the quilted carriers haul things. And Stuart is over here getting our dining room ready. It's already a dining room, but he's building the luxury items, so it'll be a high luxury, a 15 luxury dining room, which Horatio is going to like once he's a staff member. I would like to replace the apprentice who I just graduated. All I have is a dark wand, and so I'll use David because, again, there's not a lot for him to do, and he will go and summon a new student for me. And I would like to get another air apprentice, and I don't really need another dark. I have Ivy, but it doesn't hurt to have two. We can promote whichever of them looks like the stronger wizard. And we've got Horatio here, who is going to be our Earth staff member once he is fully trained. And so we've been grabbing wood. We're up to 224 wood. So we're getting wood in a real hurry. And we're at 5 gut berries. So I'd like some more gut berries if I could get them. But it looks like, oh, there are some. So I'm gonna give orders to harvest gut berries. And I'm going to increase the priority and make that a high priority activity. And we'll get some gut berries. And so things keep getting destroyed, I guess, because we're harvesting things faster than the quilted carrier can bring them in. And so it's unfortunate that maybe I shouldn't be harvesting so many resources in the middle of a storm. But okay, so Horatio is now fully trained, which is we're happy to see. He has some trials, which I think I could actually satisfy his trials. So I think I might do so. And so if he does a ritual when he's full, that'll satisfy his full ritualist. So we're going to push back the fog soon. So I could use Horatio and let him eat a meal before he does so to get that. And he has anticipatory learning, which is if he's casting a spell in class 50 times while he's craving recreation, and he's got 34 out of 50 for that. So it's a little bit unfortunate that if I'd planned a little bit better, he probably could have finished that. I'm gonna have a look. He doesn't have any new relics that I can attune. Ivy doesn't have any relics she can attune. I could attune the Tankard of the Tinker with Johannes, which helps him assemble and paint faster, which is actually useful to him, but he needs to be level 5 to attune that. So he's not a high enough level because it's a more powerful relic. So if he becomes a staff member, whoever I have as my air staff member, I'll probably attune that relic to them. That'll be useful. And there's no relics that my Kiana newly recruited initiate could use. And so this is the new relic that was left by the student that we just graduated, and it looks like it's for a mage with the exuberance activity, and it gives them some speed, and it has this ability that it'll create gnosis when initiates are being trained, which is very good. So I'd like to get this trained up, and then this is something that I'm going to put on display and use once I get the technology to create plinths and display relics, and they'll provide a benefit for the whole school. So that's down the road a little bit. But I've got a couple of relics that'll be useful for that. And I can't, his charger, I need mana lanterns, and I haven't researched them yet, and I can't make mana lanterns. So I'm actually, as much as these kind of, I could almost get these rituals done, they're actually a little bit of a pain, so I think I'm just going to skip it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to get Horatio to eat some gutberry soup, or I'll eat some carcass stew because I have more of that. So then he's going to be full once he does that. And so now his hunger is full. And so now I'm just going to graduate him. And he will satisfy the full ritual. He will satisfy his full ritual trial when he gets, oh, I don't want to graduate him. That's wrong. I want to make him a staff member. Oops. He will, oh, hire staff. Okay. So I'm all set to hire him as a staff member, but it turns out that the room isn't good enough to hire as a staff member. It must be an assembly hall, an auditorium, or a great hall. So I'm going to look in this room and see what it's going to take to upgrade it to an assembly hall. And I need 7 or more luxury, which once we repair the roof, that'll work. And then it says that I can't have any research stations, crafting stations, or refining beasts. And so the problem here is I've got a refining beast and I have a crafting station. In the mess hall, I can't have any of those there. And in the scullery, I don't think I can have any of them there in the scullery either. And I certainly can't have any of those in the intermediate classroom. So I don't have really anywhere to move these. And I could shrink them, but I think instead I'm just going to get going on trying to build up the next level of the school, and I'll do that in order to then also build this ritual room. So I will go, and the storm is still raging, but I will eventually build a floor here, and I'm going to build a wall here, and I'm going to build a wall. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing the roof with a wall, and then the floor will go in, and then I'm building a wall to the side, and then 4 walls for the next level. So this already has a wall, and a wall will go up here, and I can put in the hallway here. It's not quite complete yet, but I can put a hallway in here when I build it. And similarly, this, I'm going to build this up some more, but I'm going to hold off right now and let things get built up. So Stuart is building the bitter ice plot, which is a good activity. Quinn is researching. Quincy's cooking. Birdie's chopping down. And David is creating the quilted carrier, which those are all kind of useful things. I think I really do want this next level. So I think I'm going to give David higher priority tasks to do some construction, and his earth is only 1, but none of my staff are very good with earth. And so it looks like the Stuart just tore down part of the roof here, which is a little bit irritating in the middle of the storm. I gave orders for it to be torn down, so it's certainly my fault, but that does kind of expose the room in the middle of the storm, which isn't great and is maybe not exactly what I want to be doing. I will get, I'm going to get Stuart to remove the rest of the roof, and I'm going to build up this wall here a little bit. so David is working away at building the area I gave him instructions to build. And I kind of have to build it in from the side so that it has more support as it goes. So I can't build the inside flooring that isn't supported by anything. So I'm having to be sort of strategic about which parts of the construction David can work on. And it's mostly based on what is connected to the walls. So I'm sort of working on that. And so that music tells me that they've started their dance party. And so, so I told, I wanted Stuart oh, interesting. So I have to repair the roof before I can disintegrate it, which is a little bit silly. And so I'm going to repair it, and then I'm going to tear it down. And it's taking Stuart a really long time to repair the roof, I guess because it was quite badly damaged from the storm. I'm looking forward to Horatio. Once I have him on staff, he's going to be much better at repairs than my other wizards, my other staff members, and he'll be much better than Stuart. So that's coming. So the durability, the roof has 100 durability, so it's a lot of work trying to repair this now. So poor Stuart, he repairs one per tick, and then at the end he's just going to, after he's finished repairing it, he's going to just disintegrate it and tear it down. Okay, so the roof is gone now, so I can build a new replacement roof here. Confirm. And David is sleeping, so Stuart's going to work on building the spiral staircase and the floor and all of these different parts. Okay, so the spiral staircase is finished, which is nice. One thing that's kind of useful with your ghost, your founder's ghost, is they can reach areas because they can move through walls that other staff members can't. And so right here, I'm changing a roof into a section of wall, and the other wizards can't reach it because it's kind of awkwardly placed. So Stuart, as a ghost, can reach that area. And so that's a good part of the construction to get him to do. And so he can work on that and get to it more easily than the rest of the staff. So I didn't check about how cluttered areas were. Oh, so this room right here is cluttered because of the wood in it, and it managed to summon a gremlin. So I'm going to select the gremlin, and I'm going to give top priority to hunt it, and then I'm going to get Stuart to come down and hunt the gremlin. So we'll kill off the gremlin, and we need to clean up the things that are cluttering this room. So I'm going to give a high priority to storing the wood, and I'm giving a high priority to storing this carcass. And that should get the clutter down in this room, which it's still at 75%. And so I'll get Stuart to store the carcass. Oh, there's no valid storage for the carcass. So that's part of the problem. I don't know why it can't go here. So I'm out of storage yet again. And so I am going to build a chest, and I'm going to put it right in front of the student summoner. And so that will be a new place to put things like the carcass that I'm trying to. Okay, so Stuart got to work building the chest, which is lucky because I kind of want to get this carcass stored before another gremlin gets summoned in 4 hours. And it looks like the wizards have started getting up for day 12. And now this room is neat. So we've got the carcass has now been stored, which is great. And The staff are having their breakfast in their new dining room, but because I got rid of the roof, they don't get any benefit from it. It's not considered a room until it's fully enclosed. So hopefully by tonight when they have their dinner, they will get the benefit from that. And Stuart is teaching the students, which is good. Horatio is considered a fully trained student, and so he got put into this fully trained students category, and he's just working around the school cleaning and moving items, which is fine. I'd love for him to be able to satisfy some of his trials, but none of them are too easy to satisfy right now. And David is back to creating the quilted carriers, which is fine. I'll have him finish the floors and to be working on these. And then I'm gonna get this next level set up. And I will give orders for the roof up on the second level. And I'm going to demolish this roof here that's down, kind of blocking the way. The game in theory says that it will, if you build things through something else, it'll demolish that thing and build the new thing. And it's not very good at doing that with the roof. Sometimes the roof seems to block things that you want to do with them. And so when you're trying to get rid of roof like this, I find it's best to manually disintegrate it and get it out of your way, because you see all of this here. Well, I guess here I'm not really constructing anything over it, but it's in the way. And then here, hopefully this wall is going to get built. And so there is the wall, and I'm going to want to put a hallway in there, but it's not letting me do that yet, and I'll start with that. Okay, so good. Stuart finally cleared out some of this roof, and so now there's an area up there, and a spectral rift has appeared, and so there's some more of these ghosts that are invading my school. And so Quinn is injured. We'll keep him in the back row. Quincy is very injured, and we'll keep him in the back row. Birdie is injured, and so I'm going to remove her entirely. And then David has healed, which is great, and he'll be up front. Now, I have Horatio is an apprentice, and Horatio has a health of 204 and is an earth mage. So I'm going to put Horatio up front in Birdie's place, and then that should be good against them. And I think I'm actually going to put Birdie in instead of Quinn, because Quinn is good for recharging the other wizards, but Birdie can do better damage. And there's 3 ghosts here, and I'm hoping that these 3 wizards together will throw out a lot of damage, and will kill them really before they need their abilities recharged and they need to do anything like that. We need Viscera and wormweed pods in order to push back the fog, and I could hustle and try to harvest those things. Maybe I will. So I'm going to choose to hunt, and I'm going to choose to harvest wormweed pods, and we'll just see. And if we get that done in a reasonable length of time, then I might be able to push back the fog, which would be good. So I'm going to use these swirling vines, which do double damage to the messy meddler ghosts, which will get it down from 118 to 18 health, which is wonderful. Oh, I replaced the wrong person. So I brought Quinn, but I brought Quinn when I meant to bring Quincy. So, but Quinn's weak attack was enough to finish off the messy meddler, And now I can do with earth damage to the chest smasher, I can do double damage. And so Horatio took him down with one attack. I think Horatio is going to be a great staff member once I get him done. And then now I can with David, who's a water mage. That's water is what torch snuffers are vulnerable to. So I can do some good damage with David to the torch snuffer, and then I can keep using Birdie and do some damage with the nature magic, and I'm going to hit the torch snuffer with a lightning bolt, and I'm going to hit him with some more water, and that finishes him off. So that was good. That was a nice fast fight. My wizards didn't take very much damage, which is kind of what I want. And now Ivy is fully trained, and so we can't make her a staff member right now until we build the new room, which I could hang on and I could do that. But I really like to have more Raven Cult initiates. And so the fact that Ivy's human is a bit of a negative to me. So I'm going to actually graduate Ivy and get rid of her. And I'll have David just go through and graduate her. And then I'm going to look at my wands, and I'm going to... I am going to try to recruit another dark student. And I think I might recruit another air student. If I could get a Raven Cult initiate, I'd hold off and raise them to staff instead of this Johannes. And so we can just go with that. And so there, it's finished. David graduated the student, so they're gone now. And I want to get these rooms done. And so I'll get David to do that instead of working at the spindle. And Stuart is lecturing students, which is fine, but there's a little space here that I'd like him to work on. And it looks like David is going to work on that, but if he can't get to it, Stuart will do it when there's a break at the end of the day from teaching. So David is going back to creating the quilted So I'd rather him get work done on the building instead of making quilted carriers right now. He keeps wanting to go back to that, and eventually that is what I want him to do. But right now I kind of want him to finish doing some work on the building. Okay, so let's have a look. And so we didn't get the wormweed pods yet. And so Birdie would be good at that, and that is what she's working on. And so I was all set to give her an order to harvest wormweed, but she's doing it on her own. The dining room is complete again, which is what we want. And for whatever reason, it's not letting me build this roof, which is a little bit annoying. And so I'm just gonna try deleting it, and I'm gonna try building it again. And so we'll see. So for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to want to support it here. I'm not actually sure why. I'll hit confirm. And so now I'll get David to construct this roof. And there. So now Stuart is done teaching. And I want, Stuart's heading over to disintegrate some roof. I want him to build this wall, which is sort of embedded. It's surrounded by things, so no one else can get access to it. And so I gave him, I got him to do that. And I will build a hallway here so they can get between the rooms. And I've got a floor here. So now I'm going to move the spindle up to get it out of the way. And so I'll put this at the back and in a little bit, and I'm going to move the refining cube and I'll put that sort of in the corner here. And then I have the attunement bench, and I'll put that over in the corner. And then that should remove everything, hopefully enough that this can become a proper ritual room. And I will then be able to hire Horatio as a staff member. So David is eating, and so it's at the end of the day. So I'll just let them do so. I currently have a bunch of cots. So I have 4, 5, 6 cots, and then I have the 2 beds up here. So it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 spots, and I have 7 staff members. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Stuart summon a initiate. So I'll get another, I'm going to get another air initiate. Maybe it'll be better than Johannes. And we'll just see how that goes. And Stuart is now working away at constructing the 2nd level while the rest of the mages have their dance party, and then they'll go to sleep. And so he can work on it over the evening while the others are sleeping. And I do have enough wormweed pods and viscera to push back the fog, but the fog's about to move forward. So I'll let it move forward, and then I might be able to push it back with wood and gut berries in the morning. I'll push it back in the morning. So we've got a new student now, and we got a Raven Cult Initiate. So that's exactly what I wanted. So that's wonderful. And so now I will do a graduation ceremony with David again, and I will get rid of Johannes because he's a human, and I'd rather have the Raven Cult Initiate. So that will dump Johannes, and I will then have Linus, and I'll train him up to become my air staff member. And I will then get, once Johannes has been graduated, I can also get a new student with the ghost, with the Stuart. So once he's been doing some construction over the night, when it's getting close to morning, I'll summon a student to join the school. Okay, so we've got the school room here now, and we want this to be a assembly hall. And the problem right now is that its total luxury is -10 because of the torches, and I need to have a luxury of 7 in order for this to be a proper ritual room. And so I think the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to move the ritual sigil up to this 2nd level room, which is going to have a high luxury once the roof is built, and I'll just let this become the ritual room up a level, and then I have this room here that I can do something else with potentially. And I think I actually have an idea for what I can do with that. So I have tons of wood, and I have tons of wormweed pods, and so I can turn this room into a dormitory for the students. And if I choose the room goal and I change it to be a dormitory, it must be an interior room. And right now it's adjacent to the outside, but this is going to be filled in. And then it must have 3 or more plain beds, and I just built 5 beds. And then it must have 1 or more windows. And so I will add a window here, but I need ice petals in order to have a window. So I'm going to harvest ice petals, and once I've got some of those, I'll build a window here, and this is going to be the first student dormitory. So Horatio is moving around repairing things, which is great. He has a high earth skill, and so he's good at repairing things, and so that's a wonderful use of his time. And once the roof is repaired, I'll be able to disintegrate it. And so then now he's hauling stones. I don't know why he's not sleeping, honestly, but that's great that he's helping out instead of sleeping. So it looks like he's heading off to sleep now. So, great. And Stuart is building these beds, which is fine. I think we're approaching morning, so I think I'm going to get Stuart to summon the new dark student. And that will, hopefully, we're looking for a dark student who is a Raven Cult initiate instead of Kiana is a Shattered initiate. And so Shattered is one of the races. They are like, they're made of gemstone or something like that. And they have very low health, which makes them somewhat problematic in fights. But they get a armor that is equivalent to their health, which is kind of a nice feature, but they're not great. So I got a Vivified initiate, not a Raven Cult initiate. So that's fine. But I will, I might still try summoning yet another one. So I would like to get this Horatio made into a staff member. And so I'm going to get Stuart, instead of making beds in the new dormitory, I'm going to get him to finish the roof and help me create the assembly hall here. And then once I've done that, some of the other work that I need, Horatio will be able to help with it, since he is an earth mage. And, you know, he's 3 times as effective building things as Stuart is, for example. So the fog is dangerously close. It moved in last night, and so now I can push it back with gut berries and wood again, which is great. Everyone is up, and it looks like they have finished their breakfast, which is wonderful. And so now I'm going to satisfy Horatio's trial by getting him to do a ritual while he's full. And so he's not hungry at all. He's just eaten. So I'm going to push back the fog, and I'm going to use Horatio as the student that's going to help me do it. It's a little bit of a waste that he doesn't have any... he doesn't get any experience from it because his level's maxed out, but I will satisfy one of his trials. So that's better than getting a little bit of experience. So they're working away now, and they're pushing back. The fog. And there we go. And so now we can see that Horatio satisfied that trial. He's now got that he participated in a ritual when he was full. And if I had a mana lamp, the charger would be really easy to satisfy, but I don't. And he's not learning right now, so it's hard to get the anticipatory learning. It would be a little bit of a pain to try to work that out. So I am going to just finish building this roof, and then I am going to hire Horatio as a new staff member. Okay, so we've got an assembly hall, which is exactly what we were after. And I'm going to send Stuart over to construct this wall. And I'm going to have all of my faculty participate in hiring Horatio. So with hiring and firing rituals, whenever you leave a staff member out, they feel left out and they're sad. They get a conviction penalty. And right now, I'm at the end of where that isn't an issue for me, because I can use all my staff, all 4 of them. They all participate, and so no one's left out. And they all get a celebratory conviction at the end. So they get a plus 10 bonus to their conviction. As soon as this ritual's finished, Horatio will now be a staff member, and I have 5 staff members. So the next time I hire a staff member, I'm going to have to decide which of the 5 I want to have participate in the ritual, and whoever the 5th one is going to feel left out, and it's going to make them sad that they weren't a part of the ritual. And so at first, it's not going to be a big deal. I can just leave out whoever's the happiest staff member, and you know, them being sad about being left out probably won't be a big deal. But down the road, if I had 8 staff members, or if I had a dozen staff members, it will be a bit of a pain that every time I do a ritual, it's going to make a lot of them unhappy that they weren't a part of it. So Horatio's been upgraded, and he's now a member of the staff, and he is my Earth my earth wizard staff member. And so I'm going to go in here, and for carve, which is an earth activity, and repair, which is an earth activity, and construct, which is an earth activity, I'm going to give them top priority for what he should work on. Those are the things he should do when he gets a chance. You'll notice that carving and construct have this little red sideways arrow here. And what that's telling us is that he has a relic which helps him construct and carve even faster and better. So that's a great relic for him as my earth staff member. So he does it 3 times as fast as Stuart does because of his ability with earth. And then again, it's another 1.5 times. So he's actually doing it he's doing it 4.5 times better than Stuart is, because 3 plus the 50% puts that up to 4.5. So he's very good at constructing things, and he's off to build the roof now. So because I set that as a high priority, that's what he is doing. If I look at the ritual, we're back to the smoke stick and the ice petal, and I don't have enough to do that ritual yet, but I wanted to use the ice petal to make a window for the dorm, and I now have enough to do so. So I'm blocking the back of the wall with all of these torches, but I can slip the window in right here, and I'm going to put top priority on the window so that it becomes so it gets done fast and this becomes a dormitory. Here I have the spindle and I have the attunement bench, and I don't think anybody needs to attune a relic right now. I will have gotten a new relic from hiring Horatio because he finished his studies as a student. That gives us a relic. And the relic that I got from Horatio is this humming glove, which will give a bonus to power and speed, which is great, and it will let me summon cultists, which is great because I want to summon Raven cultists. So this is going to be a useful relic for that. So I am going to go to Horatio, and I'm going to attune the relic that he just created to him. And I also have a dark relic that the power is it prevents him from becoming wet, which I don't really care about that, but I might as well attune it to him so that the relic gets stronger. I have now 3 other relics that haven't been attuned, and the Fang of the Strong Man helps mages carve, and and construct faster, which that's very similar to the one that I put on Horatio, which was also the gizmo of the strongman. So I'm gonna see if I can put these relics on any of the other faculty, and I'm really just doing this so that they get some experience, so the relics improve. And if I look at the relics, it looks like there's 3 that haven't been assigned. This one is already maxed out, so that's not as important. But the Whirlwind Gloves and the Fang of the Strongman, I wouldn't mind attuning them to somebody. And so I am just looking for somebody I can attune these relics to. And so here, but Linus needs to be level 5, so I can't do that yet. And it looks like I can't attune those relics to anybody, so that's fine. Here I've got a schoolroom, and it's dark, so I'm going to move some of these torches up to it. So that's dark room. This room is about to become really well lit once I've got the window, so that's why I'm moving. That is why I'm moving torches out of it. Stuart is working on the bed instead of, I don't know why he's not working on the window. I'll give him orders to work on the window. So Linus is going to be our air mage, and air wizards are good at assembling things. So right now, everything's being doing quite slowly, assembling things with Stuart and the other wizards who aren't so good at it. But in short order, I'll have Linus on staff, and then he'll be able to build windows and beds and things in the future. So I have here what looks like it would be pretty good for another bedroom. So I'm going to make this a bedroom for my staff, and I need it to be, okay, so it needs to be silent to be a bedroom, and it's now adjacent to an assembly hall, and I guess when they're doing rituals, it's too loud. So I can't turn this into a bedroom because it's not silent. And I don't want to move the assembly hall again. So I'm not going to make that into a bedroom. Instead, I might be able to turn it into a nurse's office, which again, a nurse's office needs to be silent. So I'm not going to do that. And so what am I going to want to do with this? I might be able to do a mage's study and do some research here. And so I need it to be pristine, which just means it doesn't have anything that gives negative luxury like torches. So I just won't put any torches in it, which is fine. And it needs to be skewed. So it needs to have one wall higher than the other wall. And it looks like the outer wall, I already have it a little bit higher here. So I will do this. And so you can see right, oh no, it looks like that's the roof, so that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 3 more segments of wall here so that it'll become a skewed room, and I'll then be able to have a mage's study there. It needs a door, and I built it with a hallway, so that's easy enough to swap out, and so I'll change that to be a door. And then it's gonna need 1 or more arcane secretaries, and then 4 or more scholarly luxury. So I will build here that I'll build a arcane secretary, and then to get 4 scholarly luxury, I can just go down to the bookshelves, which give me 2 scholarly luxury each, and I'll build 2 of those. And then I was going to build a second arcane secretary just to increase the research capacity as much as possible, but I'm low on stone, so I can't do that with stone, so I'm gonna have to hold off for that. I think I finally mined all the stone that was available on the upper level, which is good in that I've cleaned it all up, but it's bad in that I'm now out of stone. And so what I am going to do is I want to get all my mages healed up, and then I want to start going into the subterranean level and going for stone. And I think I'm actually pretty good for that now that I have some mages that are in reasonably good health. So I think I'm going to do that now. I have 3 places I can go. I have the lava mine, which recommended level 3, the spine, which is recommended level 3, and I have the fungal cavern, which is recommended level 3. So I've kind of been moving along the fungal cavern. They're all the same difficulty, and so I'm just going to keep working on this level, and I'm going to try to finish it off. And so I've got David up front, who's my vivified, and he's nice and tough. I'm going to put Horatio next to him, who's the Raven cultist, and he has really nice health as well, 204, so they're both good and tough. And then behind them, I'll let Birdie go there with 107 health, and I'll leave Quinn there at 95 health, so that's fine. It shows me the trials that are relevant to battles, and for Linus, he could complete a trial if he fights an enemy party in a battle above ground, and this is below ground. So I might have considered including Linus if it would have satisfied his trial, but it won't. This is for an above ground battle, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to begin that, and I'm going to send them off to get into that fight. And here I've got the new, I've got my new research room happening. I've got the assembly hall here. I moved up my various pieces of equipment here, the cube and or the midden jelly refiner and the spindle. And I think that I'm going to put a storage chest up here, and I'm going to put things in it that are useful for the spindle and for the midden jelly. And so things will just be closer there anytime people are using those two things. And so I'm doing that just to sort of try to optimize the efficiency a little bit. And there is a tree here that I'm going to give an order to chop it down just because it's so close to my school. And I'm going to do the same to this one. And I've got my window here. It's considered an austere bedroom because we don't have the third bed we need to make it into a dormitory. So that's quite in short order going to become a dormitory. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Birdie is going to hit a couple of these monsters with some nature magic. I've got Quinn, which Quinn's attack is quite wimpy, but it does double damage to these drowned ones. So that improves it a little bit, but even at double damage, it's not very good. Horatio's taking some damage, but that doesn't matter because he's got so much health. But regardless, I'm going to throw on his earth armor, which will protect him from attacks. And it also gives, it taunts the enemies and it makes them want to attack. And then with David, I'm going to hit a torrent to hit the two enemies in front of him. And I'm going to use Swirling Vines again to do some more damage to the Lantern Keeper and the drowned one. And I'm going to hit the drowned one with a bolt to try to finish it off so it stops attacking us. I find in combat it's usually best to take down one enemy if possible. Anytime you have a chance to take down an enemy, it's good because then they just don't attack you anymore once they've been killed. And so now this drowned one's removed from combat, and so it's fewer attacks that we're taking. So I am going to put this on the Lantern Keeper, and so I'm starting to run low on run low on mana. So Birdie has 15 out of 89 mana, so I'm going to recharge Birdie. And David was weakened to the point that his last attack didn't do any damage, so it does 0 damage. So there's no point doing that. I'm going to, with David, do a protection spell that puts some armor on the front row. And then I am going to do an earth attack, which does double damage against the Lantern Keeper. So that just hit him hard, which is nice. That's what I like to see. And now I could finish off the Lantern Keeper with growth, but I think that Quinn will be able to finish him off with his bolt attack. So I'm going to put a growth on the drowned one, which will do damage over time for the next couple rounds. And I thought he was weak to lightning, but he wasn't. So I didn't finish him off. So that's annoying. So I'm going to smash the drowned one with some earth, and I am going to. So none of his attacks do much good because he's had his power weakened. So I'm just going to pass with Horatio. The one good thing is the two wizards that I have at the front are both pretty strong. And so they're taking hits and protecting the people behind them. And they're just sort of staying in the combat, which is half the battle, I suppose, at this point. So I'm out of mana for Horatio, which is a little bit aggravating. And I, with the drowned one, my flow only does 7 damage, and the drowned one is resistant to water, so it would be half damage for 7 damage, so that's not even worth doing. I'm just going to pass with him to try to recover mana, and Birdie's out of mana, so things are kind of stalling here, but the drowned one is down to 9 health, so I'll be able to finish him off with a last bolt attack from Quinn. So basically all of my wizards were running out of gas, but fortunately I was about to finish the combat, so that worked out fine. They had enough. They had enough juice to get through the combat. So I got a number of things here, but the most exciting thing I got is a mana crystal, which is going to let me build a mana lantern. And I don't think I've researched mana lanterns yet, but that was one of the trials, is that they wanted to recharge mana lanterns, and so I can't. I haven't done it yet, but once I research them, I'll be able to. I will be able to research them. And I now have a small support arch, which what these do is if you put them on the side of a wall, they give a little bit more structural support to the first block above them, which means you can build out your level a little bit more because you've got more storage on it. So I'm going to build one of those on each side of my school, and that'll help me, give me a little bit more floor space. And now I have a couple more things that I can put in the greenhouse. Once I can build the greenhouse, I don't have a glass roof yet, which is what you need for a greenhouse. So I still need to research that. So I want a mana lantern, which I can search for that here. And it tells me that it's in the Shine On. It's in the Shine On tech research, which is over here, which I'm going to research in 4 steps from now. So I'm going to move that up to the top, and I'm going to research Shine On first, and then I'll have a mana lantern to build now that I have the mana crystal to use to build it. And so I'm going to go back now. Stuart is teaching the students. Quinn is researching. Quincy is hunting dire rats, which is fine. Birdie's cutting down trees, which is great. And David is attuning some of the relics that I assigned to him. And so that's good. That's useful to do. And then Horatio is building these arches that I just assigned. So because he's the earth mage, he's really good at anything, any sort of construction activities, and so he's off doing that, building those, which is the best thing for him to be doing. He can build those in short order, so that's great. And so we built the support here. So now we can see that our support, it used to go to here, it was 1% on the end, and now it's 27%. So the support goes out further. So that means that I can build the floor out one more level. And then once I have the floor built out, I could build the wall up a bit more. And then once that's built up, I can remove this wall and I could shift the roof in if I wanted. But I'm just trying to get a little bit more floor room in the dining room and the upper rooms above it. The Spectral Rift is opening up again, and so I've dealt with these ghosts before, and so I'll deal with them again. The problem is that it's in here behind the chest, so nothing can reach it. So that's a little bit of a pain. So I'm going to move the chest into the living room, and I'm going to assign that a priority 5, and I'm actually going to come and I'm going to move that with... anybody with good air could do it, and so David would be a good person to move that. And actually, I don't think you even need air. So I'm moving the chest, so now I can reach it, which is great. And so I'll go back to the Spectral Rift, and I need to fight these. And the problem is my tough front guys, David and Horatio, both got really beat up. And so they are hurting badly, but I have these initiates who are pretty tough. So Linus has 171 health and Magnolia has 211 health. And Linus needs to participate in a battle above ground to satisfy his trial. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and I'll put them up front. They're very weak because they're initiates, so they're not going to be very good at casting spells, but they will be good at taking hits, which is sort of what I want from them. And so then behind them, I'll do Quincy, who would be good at attacking some of these, and I will do Birdie, who will also be good at attacking. The Messy Meddler is weak to Earth. And actually... I think I'm actually going to put Horatio in at the back because the Chest Smasher is weak to Earth. And so now my two main mages both use a type of magic that these ghosts are weak to. And so that should help me finish them off quickly before they do too much damage to my initiates who are up front taking the hits. Up here, the beds, the third bed was made and they're working on the fourth and fifth bed. And I've got a dormitory now. So the dormitory gives +5 conviction when a student sleeps there. So I'm going to change my access here so that only students can sleep in the dormitory. I'm removing the all staff. And then I'm going to, and I've got 3 students right now, I'm just going to assign one of each of them to one of these beds. So I now have 2 staff members in a bedroom. I have all 3 students in beds in the dormitory. And so that means I have 3 staff that are still in the cots down below. So I'd like to make 2 more bedrooms so that they will, I'd like to make 2 more bedrooms so that I can get all the staff into proper beds, and that'll make them happier. Okay, so I'm going to use Swirling Vines, which does double damage on the Messy Meddler, and it starts off at 53 damage, so it leaves him with 30 health afterwards, which is pretty good. We hurt the Messy Meddler pretty badly. The attack isn't too bad, it just did 3 damage. And the Linus, my air mage, is actually pretty good. He has a multi-strike, which attacks twice, and it does 30 damage each attack. So he can finish off the Messy Meddler for me, even though the Messy Meddler was resistant to air. So Linus is looking pretty good, I suppose, because he is a Raven cultist. And Horatio was able to knock out the Chest Smasher in 1 hit because it was weak to Earth, and he's an Earth mage. And now I could attack with Magnolia, and Magnolia is a dark mage, and so instead of using mana, many of their powers consume health. So it takes 43 health from her to do 80 damage to the opponent. And I think that's a worthwhile trade-off because it has 160 health, so it's probably going to attack if I don't finish it off quickly. And so I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can, and if it doesn't attack, then, which it's great, so I've got now 2 multi-strike attacks, and that'll finish it off, and it prevented him from attacking. So maybe it was worthwhile having my Dark Mage initiate damage the ghost before it could attack us. I don't know. So we've got 2 battles that were revealed from the fog, but they're level 6 and level 9. And so those are a little bit tough for me. I like to go into battles that I know I'm going to easily win. So I'm not going to bother with those. I've got Kiana, who's the Shattered Initiate, and they're fully trained, which is great. That moves them to the fully trained schedule, and they're not taking up any time or space with the teacher. And so I'm going to graduate Kiana and get her out of the school, and I'm going to use David as the staff member. I could use Horatio, and Horatio could use the experience more, but David just doesn't have anything too useful to do around the school right now, whereas Horatio can be doing all sorts of construction. He can build the roof for me here, or he can build the arch, and so I don't want to distract him from that. So I want him to just let him keep doing the construction, and I can do this with Kiana. So now I have the Air Raven Cult Initiate coming, but I don't really like Magnolia as a Vivified for the Dark. So I'm going to make another Dark Wand, and I'm going to try to summon another Dark Initiate, and I'm going to hope that I get a Raven Cult Initiate again. And so Kiana is going to get sent off. And so she's gone, and we got a new relic. And the relic we got from her is the Sling of the Strongman, which can go for any shattered wizard, any shattered mage can attune it. And I don't have a shattered mage right now. So I don't think anyone can attune my new relic, unfortunately. So I'm just going through. Sometimes they get kind of a relic that is based on their race. So because Linus is a Raven cultist, that's one of the relics he can attune. The second one is based on the magic that they specialize in. So Linus is an air mage, and so they can attune an air relic. And then the third one is sort of a random one. So he can attune a vivified relic, which is a little bit funny because he's not vivified. He's a Raven cult initiate, but he can do it. So I'm double checking them in case one of them can attune shattered relics, even though they aren't a shattered race. And Magnolia can't. Magnolia can do dark and can do a nature. So no one can do that right now, which is fine. And Stuart is still building the bed. Quinn is eating. So I think Quinn is eating in the dining room. So the dining room has a roof now, and they're finally using it. And so Quinn finished eating, and he's off to attune his relic. And if we look at his status and conviction now, the last time we saw a status or a conviction effect from eating, he got a -2 conviction for eating outside of a dining area. And so now he got 8 in a dining room +5. And so it made him happy that he was eating in a dining room. And he ate bitter gruel, so he wasn't happy with his dinner, which gives him -5. So it counteracts that. And the -5 only lasts for 8 hours, but the 8 in a dining room, the +5 is going to last until the next time he eats. And I've told him to always eat in the dining room. So he's almost got a permanent +5 to his conviction. So that's going to keep him happier as he goes. So Quinn is attuning the relic, and Quincy is cooking, and Birdie is crafting the dark wand, which is exactly what I want her to do. And David is eating. Probably David's eating a gutberry, which he is, because he's vivified. He doesn't care what he eats. Okay, and so now the dance party started for the night. And I believe we do have two enchantophones. And so all 7 of the wizards who are currently at the school can all participate in the dance party, which is nice. It's a shame that any of them get left out from that. And we've got Stuart is working away on building the bookshelves and the arcane secretary, and the roof should get built eventually. And I can actually move this arcane secretary from the basement up to the 2nd level. And so it'll be in the mage's room, and it'll get a benefit once that construction's finished. So the fog advanced, and I can now push it back with the wormweed pod, which I have enough of, and viscera, which I have enough of. I started collecting those last time, and then I missed my chance to push it back, so I have lots now. So first thing in the morning, I'm going to push back the fog once the mages get out of bed. And Birdie is still working on this dark wand. She just finished it, and now she's going off to harvest. So in the morning, when it's leading up to morning, again, I'm going to get Stuart to summon a new apprentice and get another apprentice with that dark wand. I'm currently at 49 Gnosis shards, so I'm going to be able to promote Linus when he's fully trained to a staff member, which is what I want. And I could promote Magnolia, but I just would rather have a Raven cult member, so I'm probably not going to bother with her. And everybody's sleeping. The 2 mages, or the 2 staff members are in there. Oh, this is an austere bedroom. And so the problem here is it was a proper bedroom for the staff, but it had the luxury from the roof, which I built the room above it, so it lost the roof luxury, and now it doesn't have the 5 luxury that it needs anymore. So I am going to try to increase the luxury by 5, and the only ways I have to do that now is I'm going to put in a couple of bookshelves, which give me +2 scholarly luxury, which the luxury doesn't matter. I just need some sort of luxury. And then I'm going to put in the magic mirror, which gives me 1 luxury, 1 basic luxury, and that adds up to 5. And so that's enough to turn it back into a bedroom. This is more important than the roof. If it was raining, then I would get Stuart to do the roof. But turning this into a bedroom is more important. If I can do it before dawn, then the staff members will get benefit for having slept in a bedroom. And so I can kind of assemble everything while they're sleeping. And then in the morning, I can get Horatio to finish building the roof if it hasn't been done. And yeah. Okay, so it's a bedroom. So I built the 3 pieces of furniture and it turned it into a bedroom. And in the morning, the 2 staff members will get the conviction benefit from having slept in a bedroom. And now Stuart's gone back to working on the roof. And this should be a mage's, this should be a mage's room or a mage's study or whatever it's called once the roof is finished. Okay, so there we go. We've got a mage's study, and what we needed from that was it needed to be pristine. We never put in any torches there, which actually it's dark. All of the upstairs rooms are dark, and so I should put in windows for these rooms so that I'm not getting the void shrooms. And so this is 76% lit, so it doesn't need all the torches it has. So I am going to move one of the torches up here, which this room is dimly lit. And similarly, this one's at 85. And so that's more lit more than it really needs. And I will put this torch there, and it looks like I'm going to get a void shroom in 3.4 hours here. So I'm going to get Stuart to work on this window. Maybe he can get it done in 3 hours. I don't know. And I was going to summon the new initiate with Stuart, but he just had too many things he was scrambling to do. And so Quincy slept in the bed there, and we can go and look on his conviction. And it says now that he slept in an austere bedroom. So I was wrong. Oh, it's gone back to an austere bedroom for some reason. Why isn't it? Was a bedroom. So I want this to be a bedroom. Okay, so it was silent, but the mage's study above makes noise. So that stopped it from being silent. So it was a bedroom, but it got bumped back to an austere bedroom because the mage's study is making noise. So if I can move the mage's study, that would be worth doing. And I'm going to actually start working on the next level of the next floor of the school in short order to do exactly that. And it looks like I need some stone. So I think I'm going to have to send out my mages again to fight in the underground. And so Quinn is still healing up. Quincy's still healing up. Birdie is at 100 health, but isn't really where I'd want her to be up front. Horatio has 222 health, so that's great. And Linus has 181 health, and Magnolia has 235 health. So I'm going to put Magnolia up front, and I'll put Birdie behind, and I'll put Horatio up front because he has 222 health, and then I'll put Birdie here. And these are susceptible to fire. So I'm going to put Quincy in the back row and protect him from these drowned ones, but he'll be able to use his fire attacks and hopefully knock some of them out. So I'm going to go down here, and I should have double checked, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get stone from beating this dungeon level. Okay, so I am going to do, growth. No, I'm going to do surging vines to do a bit of damage to 2 of them. And then I'm going to do fireball. And then here I'm going to do earth armor to take some damage, so they'll hopefully be attacking Horatio to start. And then I am Magnolia. So it's a little bit of a problem with Magnolia as the front level, as the front of the battle, because her spells hurt her. They cost health, and then she also gets attacked. If I use the tentacle sweep, I can wipe out this drowned one, which I kind of want to do. It does 90 damage. So I'm going to take him down with that, even though it hurts her. And the Horatio has done his earth armor. And so that has them all attacking him to start with. And so that will hopefully... now I could do a fire, which does double damage, which would do pretty... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I was tempted by Vengeance on Horatio. But, so I've got armor on Horatio, and I'm going to do earth armor again on Horatio. So these things are doing something which is they cause fearful when they attack. And Magnolia and Horatio are getting this fearful is going up as the battle goes along. And it's a little bit of a pain. It's something that they have to and actually they have to, it's quite a complicated thing to get rid of it once it's been maxed out, which just happened to Horatio. So Horatio's now terrified, and it's hard to get rid of, it's hard for him to get rid of terrified until later in the game. You need to research a lot of things in order to not be affected by that anymore. And so it's a little bit of a pain that I'm going to have to deal with that now. So they won the combat not too badly. Nobody was knocked out. There wasn't any stone in there, so I should have checked more before I went in. And unfortunately, Horatio now is terrified. And so he needs to do a ritual at a medical bed to get rid of terrified. And I need to have researched pick-me-ups in order to cure terror, but there's an experimental terror cure, and it uses mandrake root and wormweed pods, but I don't have wormweed pods yet. So I'm in a little bit of a predicament now that I can't heal his terrified, and it doesn't go away. And so I would really like to get some mandrake roots, which luckily there's some right here on the edge. And if I go over here, there's some mandrake here. And so I'm going to harvest these. So I'm harvesting the mandrake at top priority. And I am going to push back the fog. And so I have I'll use Linus not for any good reason. And I will choose 3 staff members and a couple who will get experience from it. And they are going to push back the fog. And up here, Quinn is doing research in the Mage's study. The Void Shroom has appeared, which I was afraid of. Oh, in the dining room. So I'm going to harvest that. But the dining room is dimly lit as well. So I need another window in the dining room. So I'll put that there. And I need these torches here. And I need to finish off the window here. And I need a window here. So I would really love to get Linus trained as a staff member, but he's not quite ready yet. Birdie's going to harvest the mandrake. That's important. And Quincy's going to harvest the mandrake. And I'm actually going to get Quincy to assemble these windows. And so I don't have to deal with void shrooms, which are going to be absorbing my mana and sort of being a little bit of a pain in the butt for me. So it looks like I finished some research, which is what I was excited for, the Mana Lantern. And what the Mana Lantern does is it holds 5 charges, which restores mages mana, but they need to periodically, somebody needs to come around and recharge it. So right now, up in the mage's study, Quinn has to stop research to go down to the mana font to recharge his mana. So I'm going to set up this Mana Lantern here so he can just go and recharge his mana at the lantern and not make trips down to the basement. So it's just going to be more convenient for him to get there. There is a trial that initiates can have that they charge a Mana Lantern. So once I have a Mana Lantern, I can do that with them in order to satisfy that trial. And so he is assembling the window here, and my ritual room is still dimly lit in spite of having built a window there. So I'm going to build another window in the ritual room, and I'm about to get a void shroom, which is a little bit irritating. So there'll be 2 void shrooms in my school. Oh, somebody harvested the one here, so that's great. A battle appeared because I pushed back the fog, but it's a max. It needs a level 9 mages, so it's too hard for my wizards right now. So it looks like Quincy's over here building the window, which is a great thing for him to do. I don't know why the void shroom didn't appear here. I guess maybe the window wasn't quite finished. I don't know. So Quinn is researching, Quincy is harvesting mandrake, which is good. Birdie is harvesting mandrake, which is good. David is harvesting mandrake, which is good. I've sent them all off trying to get mandrake. And Horatio is attuning a relic to himself. And if I go back down here and if I look at the experimental cure, I now have the mandrake root and I now have the wormweed pod that I need. So I'm going to cure Horatio's terrified condition. And I need a healer who has at least a water of 1. So I might as well use David. And then he needs an assistant. And the assistant gets 100 experience. So I'm going to use... Magnolia, just because I want Linus to finish his studies and to become a staff member. So I am going to build another dark wand. I'm going to keep trying to get the Ravencraft initiative, and a void shroom appeared. And so I'm going to give top priority to harvesting that. And so Stuart has gone to harvest the void shroom, which is great, before it can steal anybody's mana. And it looks like Horatio is going to be cured of being terrified, which is great. And we finished researching Boil and Bubble, which lets me create an alchemist station, which is wonderful, but it needs 50 stone, and I'm basically out of stone. So that's a nice thing to research, but it doesn't do me a lot of good right now. So I would love to go and do another attack in the dungeons and try to get some stone, but Magnolia's all injured now, and Horatio's actually been healed up, which is good. And so he's attuning a glove, which would be fine, but I think I'm gonna actually go and I'm gonna try to get some stone. So the lava mine would give me 75 stone and the spine would give me 25 stone. So I'm gonna go into the lava mine and I am going to attack these batkins, which they resist lightning, or they're weak to lightning and they're weak to air. So I am going to, Magnolia's injured, so she can't be up front anymore. Linus can take her place. Horatio is good and tough. And then instead of Birdie and Quincy, I think I will do Quinn, who is the lightning mage and can do some damage to them, hopefully with lightning. And they are weak to air, and so Linus is already there. And I think I will also put in, I think I'll do Birdie. She does pretty good damage because she can use her vine attack to attack 2 enemies in a row. And the fact that there's 4 enemies and both sides have 2 in a row, that will give Birdie a fair number of targets. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Surging Vines for Birdie, and I'm going to damage those 2. And then Quinn can do Bolt, which will do 20 damage, which gets doubled. So, you know, that's kind of okay, but it's not that super because even doubled, that's only 40 damage. And Birdie just did 100 damage by hitting 2 for 50. So that's not that good. So I'm actually going to do Inspiration, which grants an ally 30 speed, and it guarantees a critical hit on their next attack. And so I'm going to do that on Birdie because she just attacked, so that we'll try to get her to attack again as soon as possible, which it didn't help. She was right at the front of the next round, and she stayed at the front of the next round. But that's fine. So Linus is the air mage, and he strikes an enemy twice with his multi-strike, and he does 35 each time, which would be enough to do 70 damage to this creature and kill it, which would be great. But I could do 140 because 35 twice is 70 twice, which is 140. And so if I got a critical hit with either one of them, I could kill this creature, which has much higher health. So I'm going to give that a try. And no, I didn't get a critical hit, but I did some good damage, and this one's just about dead. So that's fine. I'm happy with that. And poor Horatio's taking a beating. And I will put his earth armor on him now so that in future rounds they can attack him and they won't do as much damage to him. And I'm going to go back to Swirling Vines, which will do 53 damage to two of these creatures. And I'll finish off the one that was injured there. And it looks, because I cast Inspire on Quincy, or on Birdie from Quinn, he got a critical hit there, and he did over 100 to each of the creatures. So I actually would have been better off if I'd done that on the 2 on the right side. Quinn can now do a bolt, which does 20 damage, so it's going to do double damage, and I can finish off the weakened creature on the left. So that's that. And then now I can do multi-strike twice and finish off the one in the front. And so now this one's going to attack Horatio, who had his earth armor on, and so it didn't get through, and so it didn't do any damage. And he just did an 80 damage attack. And then now Birdie finishes them off. And I've got 75 stone, and that will let me build my next level of the school. So this room is dimly lit, but I'm building two torches. This is dimly lit, but a second window is being built. My mage's study is dimly lit, and so I think I need to build another window in it. And I am now going to use some of that stone that I just got to build the next level. And so it's going to, I'm going to give it 4 walls. And then I'm going to build a floor. And then I'm going to build walls for the next level. And I'll build the new roof. And I will extend my spiral staircase up to the next level. Oh, it didn't like it because what I said earlier is the roof causes problems. And so I'll leave the spiral staircase for now, but Horatio is going up to attune his glove, which is a little bit funny. He should get working on the construction here. I'm going to give him an order to construct the wall. And so Horatio can't reach this area here. So that's the problem I talked about before, but he can reach the one on the other side. So I'll send him over for that. And here I need to build a roof. So I want to seal in the dining room again. And so I will give Horatio orders to do that. So when things are required, like wood for a roof, the quilted carriers will bring it there to make it easier for construction. So the quilted carrier just brought wood here. So when Horatio goes to build the roof, he doesn't have to go get wood. It'll already have been delivered. So there, he just built this wall, and he's coming over here to construct this roof. And I just lost my roof here from building that. And so I lost the roof, which was part of my ritual room. And so I'm going to rebuild that. And so now Horatio is building the spiral staircase a little bit. And he's building the floor. So he's started to find things to do construction related. So I seem to have fixed the whatever the ones were blocked, and I'm running out of wood. So I'd like to send Birdie out to chop down some trees, and she is harvesting mandrake, which isn't as important anymore. So I'm going to highlight it and put it at 3, and I'm going to highlight it and put it at 3, and then hopefully she will go and she'll switch to chopping down a tree. Nope, she doesn't seem to be. So I am going to give her a manual order to chop down the tree. Oh, Birdie. And Horatio is eating. Oh, which the dining room's not finished again, which is a little bit irritating. But it is what it is, I suppose. And so now Horatio is finishing off the roof and he is restoring his mana. So I've just got my warning for the first time of a possible break risk. And what that means is that you have a wizard who's on a path to be upset and have very low conviction and to potentially have a break, which they'll go crazy and it'll really hurt you. So what happened to him is he just ate in the dining room and he hates simple dining. So he wants to eat in a room that has at least 15 luxury. And this room doesn't have 15 luxury right now because the roof is broken. So it's kind of a temporary thing, and he's going to lose conviction, but he doesn't lose it when he's asleep. So I'm actually okay because he's right now at 40, and he doesn't get in trouble until he hits 25. And so he's going to lose conviction for the next 8 hours. So his conviction's going to go down by 16, but he will then recreate, so he'll get a little bit of a bonus from recreation, and he'll then eventually go to bed. And so when he's in bed, the hated simple dining will wear off. So this isn't the end of the world that he is that he's got a break risk, but that is something that becomes more of a concern. So the dining room has been rebuilt, and it has 5 luxury, which is a little bit funny. That doesn't make sense to me. So this says it has 13 luxury, and it's from the new roof. And so I've built this new wall here, so I can come in and I can demolish the wall here. And I need to increase the luxury here by 1 or by 2 for Horatio. So I'm just going to build another bookshelf, which I'm short 1 smoke stick. And so here's a smoke stick right here. And I'm going to choose to harvest it, and I'm going to do 5 priority, and Stuart right away goes to harvest it. And I'm going to get Stuart to he's right away, he's going over to disintegrate the walls, which is wonderful. And so I'm going to build the new bookshelf at the back here. And then I'm going to, not for any reason, but just to keep it neat, I'm going to move the other 2 bookshelves back in place. And I can just get Stuart to quickly move things. And I'm trying to get this up to 15 luxury so that Horatio will be happy in the morning. So I said that I had... I said that I had 4 bookshelves, so I'm up to 4 bookshelves now, which is something kind of, I'm just trying to get them all in place. And this doesn't have any real impact on the game. I'm just straightening up the bookshelves to keep them as neat as possible and to give me easier access to the room if I need to choose something so that the bookshelves won't get in my way. Okay, so we can have a look now at Horatio, and we can see his status and conviction. So he's at 33. So he's still quite a ways above 25. Well, quite a ways. He's a little bit above 25. So he's not going to break, and he's going to head off to sleep soon. And when he's sleeping, some of the things that he's upset about are going to wear off. They're going to time out. And so that's fine. So here, it's funny actually. I thought this was done, but the wall I pushed back has prevented it from being complete. So I've got to put now, I'm gonna build a roof to fill in the room. And I'm doing this so that in the morning when Horatio eats here, it has a 15 luxury and it doesn't tick him off again. So we've got a dining room with 16 luxury, and so we're all set now for Horatio to have his breakfast and to be happy. And you can see he's sleeping here, and so his conviction is going to stay 31 overnight. And so things should be okay in the morning. And I'm going to have Stuart come over here to build the second window. And I now have Linus in the morning. First thing, I can hire him as a staff member. And Magnolia, I'm going to graduate her, and I'm going to keep trying to get a Raven cult initiate as my dark mage. I don't have any real urgent need for a dark mage right now. If there was something that I needed to do with one, I'd do so, but it can wait. I also now I have 2 arcane secretaries here, and so I could use a second lightning mage to do research, and then the mage's study gives me a plus 100% research rate, so that's doubled the research that Quinn is doing. And so if I got a second lightning mage, then that would be 4 times the research that Quinn was doing before. And so that'll help us get through the research a little bit quicker, which in many ways that's kind of the name of the game, is to get everything researched. You basically need to get to the higher levels of research in order to build things that you need and new rooms, and the research is very important. So this is still an austere bedroom because they don't like the mage's study, and they also don't like the assembly hall. I think they're okay with a dining room. I don't think the dining room affects silent, so that is kind of one possibility. I'm going to set these 2 beds to be students only. They were built after I did that with the other 3. And I don't know why Linus is in the bed and then Magnolia's down on a cult. I don't know, or a cult, down on a cot. Oh, she's in the medical bed. So that makes sense. So I should probably make a nurse's office. I should probably soon build a wing for them to heal in, which when I move this bedroom, oh, it has to be silent so that I can't put it there. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put that yet. I need to sort that out. But Stuart is now working away building this floor, which now Horatio, you can see his conviction has gone back up. And so he's not heading down to a break anymore. And he's eating in the new dining room, which now I get that he ate in a dining room +5, and I didn't trigger his anger about eating in a low luxury dining room. So he's okay now with that, which is good. And he's over here helping with the construction, which is good. And I could, in theory now, build the next room, which I'm going to actually over here. I'm going to, now that breakfast is done, I want to build the mage's study over here as a skewed room on top of the dining room. So I'm going to have a dining room, and then above it, I'm going to have the mage's room. I'm going to move this room here, the mage's study, because it needs to be skewed. And so I can have the 2 of them over here and have 2 skewed rooms, top and bottom, which should be good. And this isn't confirmed. Okay, I am going to build up the wall maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to do a roof here, confirm, and then I'm going to okay, so we're building up the spiral staircase here. I don't think I've quite given it instructions right to be at the top, but I hopefully now then I have. And so they're pulling out the roof here, which is good. And Horatio is building the door, which is fine, needs to be done. And I'd like this piece of roof to be removed. It's in my way. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build these two rooms skewed such that the two rooms both basically get credit for being skewed. And so I've got here, I've got these, I'm gonna do a floor on top of the bookshelves, which they're kind of in the way for me right now. But right here, the problem I'm thinking about right now is I want to build a floor out here in order to have these two things, basically both rooms be skewed. I need them to have walls that are skewed. One wall is 3 higher than the other. So I'm making it so that this room has a great big wall here, and this room has a great big wall here. So the way to do that is I'm going to move these bookshelves over to the other side of the room. And so I'm going to move that one here, and I'm going to move this one here, and I'm going to get these, I'm going to let Horatio work on constructing the room, on adjusting the room, and I'm going to have Stuart work on moving things around. And so he's redecorating the room, and he's putting the he's moving the bookshelves to the other side, and we've moved the we have moved the magic mirror to the other side, and we'll just finish this readjustment. And so there now. So I've got the bookshelves out of the way, and I would like to build a floor here so that this wall will be 3 higher than this wall. So I'd like to build a new floor here, and then I'm going to build a wall from here up to the floor here. And so I need the arch support here in order to support this this part of it. And now it's kind of interesting here, but it says that this will support this piece of flooring, but it won't support this piece of flooring. So that's unfortunate. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build walls up here, and I'll get rid of this, and I'm going to build a wall to here. And now this wall will support this, and this wall here, I suppose, is going to support this, although I could even now go to demolish, and I could go to wall, and I could just get rid of these. And so I think then that is going to give me the 2 skewed rooms. And so Horatio is going to be hard at work on construction, and I think Stuart's going to help him with the hard to reach places, and that will let us move the mage's study, and that'll bring back our bedroom. So we won't have the austere bedroom, we'll have a proper bedroom for our staff. The spiral staircase now exits up here, which is what we want. We lost part of our roof when I was messing around with the walls, so we will build a new roof here. And you can see that Horatio's just like a machine. He's just throwing up walls, and he's throwing up floors, and it's because he has the relic that helps, and he has the high earth skill. And so now the problem here is that these walls were already built, which is wonderful, but I don't have enough support for these upper walls here anymore. So I'm going to build the arch support, and I'm going to give that a priority of 5. So that should get built, and then I should be able to continue with these walls here. Okay, so Stuart is researching, which is kind of interesting. And David's come over here to build the arch, which is fine. I guess he can do a little bit of construction. And Horatio has finished constructing everything that was available to him. So he's gone back to attuning the relics that I asked him to attune. Okay, so we've got a schoolroom here that this was our dining room, but we've lost it as a dining room now. So let's have a look, and we'll set the room goal to a dining room, and we'll try to get it back to a dining room. So it must be skewed, and it's skewed, and it must have 10 luxury. And because I just lost my roof, my luxury's way down now. So if you recall, this is the room where we need to have 15 luxury for Horatio. So I am going to, right now, I've got 9 luxury, so I need to get 6 more luxury. So the easiest way to do that is going to be with 6 more bookshelves, which I need smoke sticks to get bookshelves, which there's some, so it's apparently there's 7 smoke sticks. So I'm going to give that high priority, and I'm going to harvest these smoke sticks, and I'm going to try to get the 3 bookshelves made before dinner time. And so I'm going to move out the dining room table just so I can put the bookshelves at the back of the room, because it's getting a little bit cramped where things go in the room. So we can now do bookshelves, and I can do 2 more bookshelves, and I'll put those 2 here, and I'm going to give these a 5 priority, that I need to get these bookshelves done in time for dinner so that Horatio isn't pissed off. And so Ryan's assembling one of the bookshelves, and it looks like Quincy is assembling the other one, and we've got our dining room again, and we're up to 11 luxury. And so now we have another bookshelf, and so now we're up to 13 luxury, and so we need 1 more bookshelf, which we need some lumber, and so I'll set up all of these trees to be chopped down. And we'll get those chopped down. So now I've been neglecting Linus and Magnolia for some time now, which is maybe silly, because Linus could have helped me with some of this assembly. So I'm again going to choose the 4 staff, and then I'm going to hire Linus. But now I want the people who have the lowest convictions to do this, because I don't want them to be made unhappy. And so it looks like Quincy's pretty happy, so I'm going to leave Quincy out, and Horatio had the break risk, so the last thing I want is to put Horatio over the edge again. And I'm going to hire Linus as a new faculty member, and I'm going to send Stuart down, and I'm going to get him to recruit a new dark mage. And I have a couple dark wands, and so I'm going to recruit 1, and then I'm probably going to recruit a second if the person who I get isn't a dark mage. So. And the dining room is at, it's at 13. Oh. I thought I was at 15 luxury, but it looks like I'm almost... right, because I needed wood. So I need to build the other bookshelf. And so I will move the magic mirror to here, and then I will build... Stuart is performing a ritual, and so Quincy's available, so I'm going to get Quincy to move the mirror for me. And then I'm going to build the final bookshelf to get me to 15 luxury, and I'm going to put that 5 priority, which hopefully will mean Quincy will start. Nope, he's going off to chop a tree, so I guess the tree was more important. But as soon as Linus is hired, I'm going to immediately get him to. Dinner time started. So Stuart is working on the bookshelf, which is great. All of the staff are coming, and hopefully the bookshelf's going to be finished in time to make this 15 luxury dining room, which it is, which will give that will keep Horatio happy. So now I can go back and I am going to graduate Magnolia, and I am going to graduate her with David, maybe. I'll do Linus so that Linus gets a little bit of experience. And so I'm going to begin that. And I am going to summon with Stuart another Dark Initiate, because I saw that the Dark Initiate I got is human. So I want a Raven Cult Initiate. And so they're having their dinner, and then the dance party's starting, and we're at 8 wizards, but we're about to graduate 1, and we're about to recruit 1. So we're going to stay at 8. We're getting rid of 1, and we're recruiting another, and then we will have exactly enough for the dance party, and we've got a Vivified. So neither of our Dark Initiates are Raven Cult Initiates yet, which is what we really want. We did some research and we have some new things. So we can build a pantry now, which is a nice little way to store food. And we can build a candelabra, which is a nice way to get some luxury and add light in a room. And we now can build chairs, which are ways that we can get some luxury into a room. So we're getting more options for rooms. And if we go to our research, we can see that we're on the last piece of research for tier 1. So we're about to finish the tier 1 research. For the tier 2 research, we must research it in a mage's study, a mage's tower, or a mage's hermitage, and it requires 3 lightning skills. So right now, we've been getting Stuart to help with the research, and he can come up here to research. And as soon as we finish researching our current research, he won't be able to do that anymore. For the second tier research, they must have 3 lightning. And so Quinn is going to be the only person who can research at that point. We also had our arcane secretary in the basement, and that wouldn't work for tier 2 research either. It has to be in the mage's study. So I am going to order another lightning wand because I think it will be useful to get a second researcher. And so I'll get somebody else who has 3 lightning. And I got a lightning wand, and I'm going to put it at the top as the top priority. Lightning wand. And I've ordered 1, and currently I'm short on wood, but we'll chop some wood, and so that's fine. So something that we've researched, and I didn't really highlight it when we researched it, is we've researched 2nd level wands. And so we can now build lightning wand 2s, earth wand 2s, and air wand 2s. And those are all great. They make the wizards much stronger. And if they have a level 2 wand, it increases their level cap from 6 to 10. So it's great in every way. The problem is we need to get a special tool in the underground which lets us upgrade wizards' wands from level 1 to level 2, and we haven't found that yet. So if we built a level 2 wand, it wouldn't do us any good because we can't use it. So it's good to know that, and we should build those level 2 wands once we're able to bond them, but we can't right now. This room here, I'd like to turn it into my mage's study because I don't like that the mages are disturbing my staff over on the other side. And so the room is pristine and the room is skewed and the room has one door and it doesn't have an arcane secretary yet and it doesn't have 4 or more scholarly luxury. But all of those things are over here and I can just move this room over here now and move my mage's study right here, which is what I'm going to do. And so those two are there and I'm going to move my, and I'm going to put, it doesn't really make sense, but I'm going to put this bookshelf down in this pit and nobody needs to access the bookshelf. It's not that the bookshelf does anything. It just gives the room credit for being there. And so I'll move those there and then I'll move the mana lamp and I'll put that near the doorway and I will now move the windows and I'm actually there's no good reason for this, but I'm just trying to keep the windows a little bit neater and a little bit more symmetrical. And so there, everything's been moved over to this new room and I'm going to give Stuart instructions to go over and do that. I'm going to actually adjust some of the priorities now. And so Linus is the air mage that we have. And so we always want him to be doing assembling. And we're going to eventually be able to have him paint. And so I'm going to give him a priority to paint. He's good at hauling, but it's better to let the quilted carriers haul things. So I'm not going to have him haul. And then he hates doing lightning work. And so I don't think he would normally charge mana lanterns, but I'm just going to put that he should avoid charging and he should avoid doing research just to make sure he never accidentally does that and it pisses him off. All of the other mages have the proper instructions, it looks like. Quinn is, he's focused on research, which is what I want. And so I'm going to get Stuart to move the furniture over to this room. And then this should be a mage study in short order. The fog just moved in and I can't afford to push it back yet. I need some more wormweed pod, but I'll get that soon enough. And you can see that Stuart's doing a whole teardown of the room and moving it over. And now the austere bedroom has gone back to being a bedroom. So that's great for my staff. They'll be happier sleeping there. Now, this is it's not a silent room because it's next to the assembly hall. So in some ways, I kind of wish these two rooms were swapped and I could turn this room into a second bedroom for my staff, but I can't do that right now. But I kind of could. So what the heck? I'm gonna move my ritual stone up here, and I'm gonna move the windows up, and I'm going to then have the assembly hall up here, which will turn this into a student room, which will let me build a bedroom off to the side. Oh, so he's harvesting bitter rice, which I'd actually rather he keep moving around the furniture. So we've got our mage's study back, and we've got Stuart is moving things around, and we've got our assembly hall again, and now this is a student room. And so that means that we can build another bedroom here with some plain beds the same way we did before. So we're short on wood. And so here's some wood, and I'm going to harvest some wormweed. And I'm going to do that faster so that we can push the fog back. It's making me a little bit nervous just how close it is. And we need wormweed, but we have viscera, so we should quickly in the morning be able to do that. And then once we chop down some trees, I'm going to be able to turn this into a bedroom. And this room is silent as well. So I think I'm going to turn this room into a nurse's office for now. So I can actually do that. Oh, not yet, because they're in the medical bed, and I can't afford a medical bed right now until I get another phoenix flower. So I will grab a phoenix flower, and then I'll build a second medical bed. And I'll move the medical bed that they're in up to the nurse's office. And a while back, I said that I wanted to make a alchemist station, but I still don't have enough stone for that. I think I got the stone and then promptly used it to build walls and things. So I probably should have built an alchemist station before I expanded my school, but that's kind of a live and learn type situation. It's not the end of the world. So I need 48 wormweed pods, and I only had 4. So Stuart just harvested one, which gave me 18, so that's okay, but it's kind of slow going because his nature is so low. Someone is ravenous, which is kind of interesting. So David is ravenous, and I think he's ravenous because I had him doing a ritual when everyone else was eating. So it's not the end of the world. He's not going to be happy, I suppose, in the morning, but he's going to wake up and he's going to eat a gut berry, and then he'll be fine. So a battle awaits. There's another battle. It's a level 9, which is too hard for me, so I'm not going to do that. And we're about to do dawn, and the game's gonna save automatically when we go to dawn, and I think I'm going to end the session there. So this has been Mind Over Magic, and we are going to... We just did the auto save complete, and it's the morning of day 16, and we're going to keep building up our magic school. The immediate next steps are to get lighting in these 2 rooms and build them into a second bedroom and a nurse's office. And then I need to build the alchemist's bench, and I'm probably going to have to go into the underground in order to get the stone to make the alchemist's bench. And we've got our mages study set up so we can start getting into the tier 2 research, which is we're going to do as soon as Second Sight finishes its research, which should be shortly into this day. So that should be coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will put out the next part as soon as possible.